Hello and welcome to my podcast. It's been a few days when I've been contemplating on donating blood. It's been a couple of years since I've been back in Pakistan and I have never given blood in my own country. So after a few days of locating the place and figuring out a few other things, I finally decided that today is the day that I need to go. Now, first of all, why was I there? I went to donate blood, not any particular reason, but I have been contemplating because it was one of the things in my list and I needed to do it. That's about it. Now, the main question is why I decided to make a video out of it. What's so special about me going to donate blood? Well, it has nothing to do with me donating blood whatsoever, but everything to do with who it might go to and my feeling towards the whole experience, the whole situation, things that I've learned in the whole process, things which fascinated me in a good way and a bad way. In both ways. While I was searching for blood banks in my area, I was so shocked that in my city, which is the capital city of Pakistan, there are only 5 to 6 blood banks on Google Map. And I'm talking about central city, of course, not the whole city, because the way you evaluate the whole city, like which regions you need to count, that could go broader. But what I'm talking about is the central location of the city, the central city itself. And that was quite fascinating for me. I'm not sure how should I feel about it. I don't know whether 5 or 6 blood banks is enough. Is it a big number or small number? But from what I experienced, what I personally feel or think about it, with the population of almost 1 million to 1.5 million people living in a city, 5 to 6 blood banks only. Now, I'm not sure the facilities of these locations. I'm not sure how much blood they store. I have no idea how much you can say, like how much donations they are receiving per day. What's the requirement of the population, 1.5 million on a daily basis? I have no idea about that. But considering there are only 5 to 6 facilities for 1 million or 1.5 million, that's a big question mark for me, and something that I feel like I want to understand more. If someone who is working in this field and who's working in Islamabad know more about it and is listening to me right now, if you can share your opinions in the comments below, or if you want to come on my podcast, share your experience, share some statistics with me, give me an insight. Or if you're from other country as well, if you want to share exactly how it operates and the logistics of it, and whether 5 to 6 blood banks is a big number or not, I would be happy to share your views on my podcast. You can email me on the email address that I'll be sharing below as well. But this is something that I felt like it is a big gap between the population and the number of blood banks that are available over there. Now, that's not the only issue that I wanted to raise over here right now. During my whole process, my exploring, my experience for this whole situation in, you can say, maybe a couple of weeks, one of the things that fascinated me and triggered me a lot was to find out about thalassemia. The foundation that I donated the blood to was Thalassemia Foundation. And after researching a little bit more about thalassemia, it was very concerning for me to find out that it's one of the biggest issues in Pakistan and something that a lot of people don't know about, especially in Pakistan. And considering that it is one of the major issues, everybody should know about it. And especially concerning how it is spread, how it is affecting a lot of families in Pakistan. I feel like it's a topic which needs a lot more attention than it is getting right now. So now let's move forward and let's discuss a little bit more about it. I've done a little bit of research, like you can say, like maybe a couple of hours of research. It's not a very deep dive on the subject, but I feel like this is something that we need to talk more about. And I have initiated conversations with a few people who are working in the industry, who are a specialist, or who are working in facilities who are specialists in this field. And hopefully I can get a good response and I can maybe hopefully interview a few people, maybe visit a few facilities and maybe share those facilities with you as well. And maybe together we can raise awareness in this topic. Now, what is thalassemia? Thalassemia is actually a genetic blood disorder that affects the body's ability to produce hemoglobin, the protein in red blood cells responsible for carrying oxygen. People with thalassemia produce either no or very little hemoglobin, which leads to the shortage of healthy red blood cells in the body. This means their organs and tissues don't get enough oxygen, which can lead to severe complications. One thing to note is that thalassemia is often inherited from parents who are carriers but may not display symptoms right now within themselves, but their children might display symptoms of thalassemia. Thalassemia comes in two main types, alpha and beta. Beta thalassemia, especially in its major form, is the most severe and prevalent types in countries like Pakistan. Children in this form of disease usually show symptoms within the first 2 years of life, such as fatigue, paleness, slow growth, and frequent infections. Over time, thalassemia can cause complications like bone deformities, an enlarged spleen, and heart and liver problems due to their iron overload from frequent blood transfusions. People with severe thalassemia often need to go to regular blood transfusions, and other treatments throughout their lifetime, which is something which is concerning a lot more for people who have to go to transfusions over and over again. And we have to understand that it is a very expensive, very expensive treatment if it is in a very serious stage. Now let's talk about thalassemia in Pakistan. Thalassemia in Pakistan is a major public health issue. Around 5,000 children are born each year with thalassemia, if not more. And we're talking about the thalassemia major in Pakistan. It's estimated about 5 to 7% of the population are carriers of thalassemia gene. That's approximately 12 million people in a country. Why is it so prevalent in Pakistan? One of the major reasons is the high rate of cousin marriage, which increases the likelihood of two carriers passing on the disease on their child. Limited access to genetic counseling and parental screening is also an issue, and a major issue in Pakistan. And that is mostly because of economic conditions and lack of awareness. Thalassemia isn't a problem just in Pakistan. It affects millions worldwide, but some regions are hit harder than others. Besides Pakistan, countries like India, Bangladesh, and Iran also see high rates of this disease, largely due to similar cultural practices like cousin marriages and lack of prenatal care. I was recently in discussion with one of my good friends from Turkey, as she worked in a hospital as well, and she reiterated that thalassemia is an issue in her country as well. But countries like Turkey and previously Italy as well, facing this issue before, have been working tirelessly to control this problem. Of course, this is the information that I've received from some of my friends, my colleagues that I know personally, and to look at the proper overview of what is going on over there in those countries, you have to see the actual data and you have to analyze the historical data, evaluate all the variables which affect the whole situation right now. But if we zoom out globally, the countries with the highest thalassemia rate are in the Mediterranean, Southeast Asia, Middle East. In fact, Cyprus, Greece, and Italy were once epicenters of thalassemia, but however, they have implemented national screening programs which have significantly reduced the number of effective births. For instance, Cyprus was able to reduce the rate of births with thalassemia major by more than 95% by introducing compulsory premartial screening. In contrast, countries like Pakistan are still struggling to implement such measures due to economic constraints and lack of awareness, which is a concerning issue, but at the same time, it is understandable with the lack of economic conditions and infrastructure awareness, like I said before, but at the same time, education. Education is one of the things which improves openness in the society, and that is something that Pakistan is definitely lacking in, but it is not way behind. The country itself is focusing a lot on education right now, and they are working closely with the societies in villages now more than ever, especially in women's education. There's a lot of work going on and things are moving forward, but it is something that Pakistan needs to work a lot more. So how exactly does thalassemia occur? It's a genetic disorder, meaning it passes down from parents to children. If both parents are carriers, there's a 25% chance with each pregnancy that the child will be born with thalassemia major. Cousin marriage, which is common in Pakistan and other parts of South Asia and Middle East, significantly increases this risk. Another factor that contributes to the spread of thalassemia in countries like Pakistan is, of course, lack of proper screening facilities. In many rural areas, families aren't aware of their carrier status, and there's a limited access to the genetic counseling and diagnostic tests. And this is exactly what I was sharing earlier. Limited facilities, even though work is being carried out, but maybe the spread at which the awareness is supposed to be is maybe not enough, or maybe the economic conditions of the country is hindering the exposure towards thalassemia and other major issues in Pakistan as well. Managing thalassemia can be very challenging. People with severe form of disease, especially thalassemia major, require regular blood transfusions, sometimes as frequently as every 2 to 4 weeks. Over time, the iron in these transfusions build up in the body can damage organs. So patients need iron chelating therapy to remove this excess iron. There's also bone marrow transplantation that is currently the only cure for thalassemia apparently, but they are extremely expensive and not widely accessible, especially in countries like Pakistan where healthcare infrastructure is maybe underdeveloped or still developing. So it is a big hassle and a big milestone that Pakistan needs to achieve. After brief discussion with one of the employees at the foundation, I was informed that in Pakistan, some efforts are definitely being made to tackle thalassemia. Organizations like Thalassemia Federation of Pakistan are raising awareness, while some hospitals provide free or subsidized transfusions and treatments. However, much more needs to be done, particularly in terms of widespread screening, public health campaigns, and policy implementations. Many experts do believe that the key to reducing thalassemia in Pakistan is increasing awareness about genetic screening and counseling, particularly for couples who are planning to marry. Especially countries like Italy and Cyprus serve as a big model for how national screening programs can drastically reduce the incidence in thalassemia, especially because this is one of the biggest problems in Pakistan, which is cousin marriage. So awareness is one of the biggest solutions that Pakistan can implement for our future children. Probably not the current generation, which is going on, because we are already in that phase, but this generation can improve the future generation. And that is the important thing. So all in all, I believe that thalassemia is a disease that quietly but devastatingly affects millions, particularly in countries like Pakistan. While treatment options do exist, prevention through education, genetic screening, and public health interventions is where the future lies. It's our hope that more people will come forward, be more aware of the conditions, take necessary steps to help prevent it. If you or someone you know is affected by thalassemia, there are resources available online. Reach out to the local healthcare authorities and support organizations for more information. And if you are planning to marry somebody, especially if it's your cousin, please make considerations. Make sure you get your screenings done. It is not just for you; it's for our future generation. It's for the survivability and the health of our future generation. And if you can, please, whenever possible, donate blood. We can not even comprehend how valuable a single bottle of blood can be for somebody who's taking a last breath. I'm your host, Faizan Ali, and have a nice day.